Hey, it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're zooming in and focusing in on a very important aspect of not only what it feels like to be targeted, to be in a relationship with a malignant narcissist, a psychopathic individual, but furthermore, how to understand the relations of the symptoms, the cause, and the effect that it creates in your life. Some of which can be very severe, very traumatic, and very serious. And so, and I want to be able to put this into a very easy and palatable position for you so that you can really take the tools, take the understanding, take this situation and resolve it right away. Because these symptoms can go on for years. And it can be very severe, especially when you're going through a no contact or you've just exposed this individual. Your life feels shatters. Your life feels very jagged, very rough. Things aren't feeling as they should be. You're, going up and down in your mood, your thoughts. It's very erratic. It's difficult for you to do things like drive, sleep, eat, go to work without feeling sick, nauseous. Like you're going to throw up, or like your thoughts are spinning, or you're on a roller coaster, or like you have emotional vertigo at the hands and helm of an individual who you really at one time thought was perhaps your knight in shining armor or your queen in shining armor. And that's really based on the schema or story that you have told yourself. And it's very important to understand the role of cognitive dissonance as it plays with not only going into being involved in the love bombing stage, but also the devaluation and the tolerance of putting up with abuse, taking back the individual, staying on that roller coaster, staying in the vertigo, the emotional vertigo, for sake of this individual, for sake of really the quest of really what is an addiction or a feeling that you are addicted to based within this relationship. It's basically, it sets up an addiction. It sets up a heightened state of awareness, which is a very dangerous cocktail of dopamine as well as all the adrenalines, the cortisol, the stress hormones combined with the pleasure. And it becomes this very, very unstable mix of chemical, neurochemical, and really, kind of processing through all the, central nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system, which can really throw people's life, emotions, feelings, thoughts out of whack. And it's a very scary and terrifying state to be on, to be in. And it's really important I want to kind of give you a lifeline if you are experiencing this. And that is the state of cognitive dissonance that has been set up. It's been created in you. It's been an experiential ramification or result of being in a relationship with a sociopathic, psychopathic, malignant narcissist individual. And as we know, these individuals do not have an ability to really feel a conscience, a set of right or wrong. They don't have the same warm, fuzzy, emotional connection to others. They are completely devoid of that. So completely devoid. If you can imagine, which is difficult to understand, but having no feelings, having no emotions, having no attachment to others, and really not feeling like you've done anything wrong when you've abused somebody, hurt somebody, violated the law, engaged in criminal behavior, yet, you are able to see that it's causing trouble in your life, i.e. the police are called, you have a court hearing, you're getting a divorce, your kids don't want to be with you. I mean, you kind of see these, as these individuals, they see this occurring, they know that there's, things askew and awry. They don't really feel really a tremendous amount of fear about this. They just know that something is going to happen, that's going to limit their freedoms or limit their ability to live the life on those parasitic terms. So they will revert to more of the high-risk behavior to really sort of override that feeling of boredom or emptiness. So they'll engage in even more, they'll really up their game in terms of the manipulation, the lies, the conning that these individuals do to get what they want. And it cannot be taken lightly that these people can devastate and destroy one's emotional life. And when I say psychologically overwhelming, psychological, like you're a psychological hostage to this, it's a very real experience for people who are really emerging from this, especially if it's fairly recently. And to get sorted through this and to identify what is the role of cognitive dissonance, realize that it's because the sociopath, the malignant narcissist, the psychopath is adept at getting you to go against and defy your own sense of right or wrong and then enjoy doing it. They have an ability to cause you to defy and destroy and disarm your own judgment, your own sense of right or wrong. They'll have you disable it, basically. It's the ultimate perversion. They will get you to be socially, and sexually aroused by doing the perverse, and by doing what is incestuous or what is not healthy. And it's when we say oh, that's so perverted, like funny, it's no, this is very, very perverted and not something you want to tamper with, toy with, allow to proliferate in your life, because it does cause people to become very out of control and really out of character for themselves. And it's not an enjoyable experience. It's kind of like the addiction is really pulling out the worst of them. It's like the heroin addict that, can't eat, can't sleep, has rashes all over their body, yet they're wanting to go back and do more drugs. And they can see, perhaps some of the negative health effects it's having in their life, but they can't stop. So it's important really to identify that this emotional manipulation sets up in the experience of an individual a sense of cognitive dissonance. It's a defying of your own free will. It's a defying of your own sense of right or wrong. It's a violation. It's a very, very intensive mix of arousal, pleasure, euphoria, bliss, combined with a sense of self-violation, self-degradation, disrespect, and really kind of breaking of those very important social norms and values. For example, like paying your rent, your mortgage, your kids, having your family, at least knowing what that is. They're going to get you to override all that sense of propriety and rightness which you might have as part of your everyday life. They get you to override that and violate that, and then furthermore become aroused by your own destruction. And it's very and so when you see this is oftentimes set up in the love bombing phase, because like the Gone with the Wind, sweeping off of your feet, they're really ungrounding you from your sense of self, who you are, what you value, what you're about, what you cherish, what you love. They get you to forget about all that, leave it all behind for this, this addiction. And the psychopath is able to see and scope out when they are having this effect on you. They can sense when you're letting go of your schedule. Your body might move in a certain way, and they say, "Okay, I've got her now." It's kind of like they can see the effect in their victims. And when I say victim, I don't mean like, "Oh, you're a victim." It's like you are a victim, like to the point oftentimes it can be of no return, where people have lost their fortunes, their feeling of sanity. They're really at a place in their life where they don't want to be, and it's a temporary state. So the cognitive dissonance means your body and your mind are not working together. Your values are one way, but you're betraying yourself. And they get you basically into a state where you're aroused by betraying yourself, violating yourself. And it causes you to almost have a temporary out-of-body experience where you're doing things that you really should not be doing, but yet you feel a compulsion. And I would say that was the number one effect, is that there then becomes compulsion in one's life. And a compulsion is an intense desire to do something. And you cannot stop. It's almost like the feeling of a possession. For some people, some people do have obsessive compulsive disorder, where they have to constantly count things, count their steps, count blocks in the in the sidewalk, count the number of steps, here to there, wash their hands. It's a compulsion. It's something that it's an impulse that they don't have control over. Well, the love bombing and the cognitive dissonance sets up a compulsion where you feel, you must, either there's the compulsive masturbating, compulsive texting, compulsive video taking, the hyper arousal syndrome, where they have hyper aroused sexually their targets because they know that this gets them into a state of destruction. When your body is hyper aroused like that, it can't calm down. Your body cannot calm down. Your thoughts then become, addicted, hooked to this very, very unique formula of chemistry, which is the pleasure combined with the fear. It's like chemicals that should not be put together that are now exploding and, out of control. And that creates a lot of that psychological trauma and psychological feeling like you're hostage or so addicted to this very person. And the sort of roller coaster that they put you on, the emotional vertigo that they are putting you on. And, people then are giving themselves a story, a schema. They're telling themselves a story about this person. And you have to really shred that story. The story that you're saying about this person is not true. This person is not handsome. This person is not strong. This person is not good looking. This person is not charming. This person is not your godsend. This person is not the answer to your prayers. All the stories that you've been telling yourself have been oftentimes coming from the fear-based cognitive dissonance. So the cognitive dissonance basically is the state of having inconsistent thoughts and beliefs, and especially as it's related to your behavior. So it's in the beginning, you had temporarily, overrided your own sense of right or wrong. So if you look back into the relationship, you'll see where maybe you had violated your standards. You had gone against your own inner guidance. You had gone against your own inner voice and said, this is going to be okay. I'm just going to go with it. No, this guy is worth it to me. He's so cute. He's so handsome. His muscles, her figure, his car, his motorcycle, her house, whatever it is, the story that you told yourself oftentimes had created this cognitive dissonance, which is an inconsistent sense of your thoughts, as they coordinate with your behaviors, as they are congruent with your behavior. So it's really the ultimate betrayal that you do to yourself for sake of really kind of falling prey and predator to this individual's charm, and really sort of ingesting of their pathology, if you will, the lies, their energy, their manipulation. And it is very important to see this as it's what it's created in your life, and realize that is your end destruction, is really what they have in mind. And they will go to whatever limits that it needs to destroy, to see you completely, the ultimate shock. I can't believe you're doing this, where you're feeling totally out of control. Your mind is blown that, you thought you're walking to a house, and then all of a sudden he puts up, some siding, and you're like, this is not the same house. This is not the same guy. And they can literally metamorphosize into a whole different person other than which you would really even recognize. These people can really sort of change their persona so dramatically that you would not recognize this person. It's almost, the psychopath is almost like a multi-personality type of individual, where they will become and transform and play a role according to, these different, these different characters, almost like in a movie. And this might be a bad example, but, if you've ever seen Jim Carrey in the movie Mask, the way he just transforms his body physically, vocally, his attitude, his energy, everything transforms. I mean, you couldn't recognize the one from the other. The transformation can be that profound. And the evil, the destruction, the shock, can be as profound as well. And that is what gets people really into a state of disability, crippling mindset, etc. So realize that the tool for your healing here is to look at the story that you told yourself about this individual, and realize this person is not the person that you are telling yourself, which is, metacognition, which is, we're using now the tool of metacognition, which is your ability to think. It's the very innate and very sophisticated and very high level ability of humans, and that is the space and role and energy of metacognition, which is a higher level of consciousness, and it's the ability for you to think about what you're thinking. So it's this higher level plane, if you will. It's like, going from the bachelor's to the master's to the doctorate level. All of a sudden you're on the doctorate level to yourself. You're now in the role of metacognition, and you're in the ability to think about what you're thinking. And so I want you to look at the stories that you have told yourself about this individual, and realize that they are all really kind of a made up fairy tale, a made up illusion, a delusion, a conning. And I want you to really see it for what it is. And I really want you, to realize that the brain really resonates with images, and it really resonates with pictures. And so you have now given yourself and embedded in your mind a positive story or positive image about this person, them being so strong, handsome, intelligent, responsible, all the different things that they had crafted and created in your mind to create that schema in your mind. Realize that came from nothing but a very destructive, evil place. That show of an outward person that this con person is giving to you is nothing but a very sophisticated actor that is presented in your life. There's not really anything human about it. And when I say inhuman, I'm meaning devoid of humanity, devoid of life force. So realize that this life force that you think is in your life is really, it's a huge entity of destruction and darkness, and really at a level that you don't want to engage in, because it's a very serious matter with which they will seek to deliberately, and even through weeks, months, and years, get more severe and profound in the destruction. And they can tell, they will tell themselves, she's destroyed, about the partner that they're deliberately and calculating, sussing out. They will say that, years in advance. They will, very innocent, lovely, wonderful people, they will look to destroy at the core level, and it's very sadistic. And I'm sorry that this video is going on for so long, but it's just some intensive topics, and we're going to break it out into segments or take some steps along the way if you need to. But what I really want you to understand is that it is nothing but a facade. It is false. It is not. It is not what you genuinely are thinking that this person is. In other words, to and equate, like, if you think that you have a genuine leather sofa in your house, and you just found out that this is the cheapest, most toxic plastic, what do you call it, polyurethane, that emits toxic fumes, and that it's actually destroying your home environment, and that you thought you bought this leather sofa that was from Italy, or hand sewn, or all this that you don't have the genuine sofa here. You don't have genuine leather. You have just been duped up by a very sophisticated con man that has psychological warfare as their tool, as their target, and they will dish it up with a smile. They will dish it up with a walk in the garden. They will dish it up with a lobster dinner. They'll dish it up with a vacation to Galapagos, or wherever it is that they need to craft themselves and mold themselves and customize themselves to get you there, to that level of destruction. So I want you to use the tool of cognitive reframing and see them for what they are. If you can just imagine that this is literally an individual who is, if you can see them, some people say, well, this is a snake in a suit. That this is nothing but, toxic waste, in a pair of shoes. Give yourself an image for what it is. And, if give yourself a name to this individual, which then you create a new story. You kind of write this into a new understanding of your mind to put them in their rightful place. This is not a person. This is not a love affair. This is not divine intervention. This person is not divine intervention. This person is basically emotionally, nuclearly destructive to you in your life. This is meant to cause you to turn 380 the other direction. 460 the other direction. This person is meant to send you directly in the opposite. So if you're thinking that this is the direction you're going to head, do, a complete 380, 460, 440, turn it around and go directly the other direction. Do not even begin to continue to observe them, look at them, listen to them. Don't watch the rest of their drama unfold, because it's not, indulging in that is to indulge in your destruction. And really purge yourself, purify yourself from that. Just literally wipe your hands clean, flush yourself out with water, start, getting mono fruit diets, eating healthfully, getting everything out of your home that has been ever touched by them if you can. I mean, just really clear your environment of everything that has to do and represent them, because those items and those pictures or those gifts are constantly repriming your mind to believe that erroneous schema, that wrong story, which you had told yourself in the beginning. Clear it out. Clear everything out. Put it in the shredder. Like literally, if some people, if you want to keep one thing around that reminds you how evil that they are, get at least one item to remind yourself. If you keep it, in your mind, which reminds you of how deluded you were by this person, keep that one item for a while just to remind you of what had occurred. And furthermore, get out everything of their life, that they have placed in your life. Get everything out, because you need to give your body a chance to reset itself. And that will heal with time. But furthermore, and if it's become very severe, do seek medical attention. If you are, really not feeling well, go to your primary care physician, get a temporary something, but go and do some intervention for yourself. Purge them completely out of your system. Completely. I mean, you have to go through a detox, and you need to, just work really hard, and the affirmations need to be hard. The cleansing needs to be hard. Drink, just drink a really huge, tall liter of water when you feel yourself, going into that sludge mode. And I would say, give, this is the image that I was going to say, and then we're going to wrap up the video. This person who you thought was the love of your life, the charm, realize that this person is like, you had a love affair with a catfish. This is basically a bottom feeder. This is, a disgusting animal. Don't fall in love with a catfish. Don't take a catfish to bed. These people are sludge. They are sickening. They're slimy. They appear to be very charming, or have been there to nourish you for certain areas of your life. But realize that the schema, the story that you told yourself, oftentimes was you betraying your own values, which you knew better, which you thought you could be beyond. Rewrite that story. Use the role of metacognition. Realize, get that higher level of thinking. Have the courage and bravery to see it for what it is, and let it go. Get rid of that individual, which is really not an individual. It is like a catfish in shoes. I mean, I don't really know another image right now. You might want to create your own and put it in the comments down below that really gives you a really disgusting feeling when you see this person, and you now know it for what it is, because they're really, like a subhuman species. They're really like a very much of a predatory sort of entity, in the guise of a human body. It's peace and harmony with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.